Hey my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Krysten Jansen, nutrition and fat loss specialist for the Natty Hour. Before we get into today's video, I just want to ask a quick favor. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so I can continue to provide you with training on all things fitness and nutrition on a weekly basis. Now, let's get into the topic of today's video, how to calculate your macros.
I've been doing things that they told me I should never do. I've been doing things that they told me I could never do now. Never do, I could never do. I've been looking back and I'm the only one who ever knew. My dreams began to turn out.
We specialize in teaching people how to master flexible dieting. A part of flexible dieting is learning how to calculate and track your macronutrients. So this is a question that we get literally on a daily basis. So I wanted to make a video for you guys so you had a comprehensive guide of how to set up your own macronutrients. So I wanted to make a video just because there is also a lot of free calculators out there, some of which are accurate, some of which are not. For example, like if you go onto MyFitnessPal and you determine what your maintenance calories are. Unfortunately, in my professional opinion, I believe that their maintenance calories that they calculate for the majority of people are significantly low. I've had numerous people, they are not losing weight and they're just eating too little, and it is very difficult to adhere to. So I'm not a big fan of the free calculators that are out there. Like I mentioned, there are some that are good, but I mean, this is your health at the end of the day. Why not take it into your own hands and ensure you're being as accurate as possible for your goals versus relying on an online calculator, which may not always be completely accurate. So for example, for myself, for instance, if I were to put my current body weight into MyFitnessPal, my guessing, because I've done it before, is if I were to put my weight and my goals into MyFitnessPal, they will determine my maintenance calories to be between 1,500 and 1,700, which isn't completely accurate for someone, especially in my situation, who has been tracking for a long period of time. I've adapted my macronutrients and my calorie intake. In actuality, my maintenance calories as of right now, if you guys follow me on Instagram, because I talk about it a lot there, my maintenance calories right now is actually 2,600. I were to put that I was eating 2,600 into MyFitnessPal on a daily basis, they will give me a notification saying that if I continue eating this way, that I'll gain like 20 pounds in the next 5 weeks. But I've been eating 2,600 calories for about 2 months now, and I'm maintaining weight. So just a prime example right there that these online calculators aren't always completely accurate because everybody is different at the end of the day. All right, enough of that. Let's get into how to actually set up your macronutrients. Step number one is we want to actually determine our total calories that we're going to be consuming first before we get into the macronutrients. If you guys aren't aware, macronutrients is your protein, carbs, and fat. And if you add up your total protein, carbs, and fats, it equals your total calories. So we want to determine the total calories first, and then we are going to take the calories and allocate them to our fat, carbs, and protein. For determining your maintenance calories, the most common multiplier is between 13 and 15. This basic multiplier is a range between 13 and 15 calories of your lean body mass. So for example, say your lean body mass is 120 pounds. You will take this and multiply it by between 13 and 15. We'll use 15 for example, and that's going to equal your total maintenance calories. If you take 120 pounds times it by 15, this equals a total maintenance calorie amount of 1,800 calories. Now what we want to do is we want to take that 1,800 calories and determine what our protein, carbs, and fats are going to be made up of within this total calorie intake. So firstly, I like to start off with protein. Protein is the most important macronutrient, which is why we want to take our total calories and allocate it to protein first and foremost. So it's important to remember here that 1 gram of protein is actually equal to 4 calories. A general recommendation for most people is to consume 1 gram of protein per body weight. So continuing on with our example, if we estimate that our lean body mass is 120 pounds, we times that by 1, that is equal to 120 grams of protein. This is going to leave us with 1,320 calories out of our 1,800 calorie total that is left to be allocated towards fat and carbs. After we've determined our protein amount, we want to move on to our fat amount. Fat is the second most important macronutrient in my professional opinion. It helps balance your hormones, and it's much more important than I think people realize. The next macronutrient we're gonna allocate out is our fat. It's important to note here that 1 gram of fat is actually equal to 9 calories, much more than protein. In regards to a minimum fat requirement, I typically like to recommend having at least 30% of your remaining calories allocated towards your fat. So continue on with our example, we're looking at allocating approximately 44 or 45 grams of fat. This is gonna leave us with 925 calories to be allocated out. The last macronutrient to allocate the remaining calories out to is our carb. Now, some people argue, and this is true, in fact, there is actually a 4th macronutrient, and that is alcohol. 1 gram of alcohol actually equals 7 calories. But I think it's safe to say, especially if you are an athlete, that you shouldn't be having alcohol on a daily basis. So it's not necessary to take this remaining calorie amount of 925 calories and allocate it out to carb and alcohol, because you don't want to be having alcohol every single day. So we just want to take these remaining calories and allocate it just to your carbs. Now, in a future video, I will show you guys how to actually track your alcohol when you do have it on an irregular basis. But for just today's video, we are just focusing on protein, carbs, and fat. So that leaves us with our last macronutrient to allocate the remaining calories out to, and that is carbohydrate. So we have 925 calories left. It's important to know here that 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories. So all we're gonna do is take this 925, divide it by 4, and that's the amount of carbohydrates that you are gonna be consuming in a day. So that leaves us with approximately 230 grams of carbs to be consumed. And that's basically it when it comes to determining your macronutrients. Like I said before, this is just a generic example. There are specific indicators that need to be considered, but that's where a coach comes into play. But if you're just looking to get started, you just need specific amounts to start tracking. To track to certain amounts is better than not tracking at all, because it gives you an idea of how your body is going to respond to this amount of food and how to make adjustments if and when necessary. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you find that all these numbers is just too much for you, it's just too much to handle, and you just don't even want to think about it, I do urge you to try to stay away from the free online macronutrient calculators. That, like I said in the beginning of the video, they're not always necessary and not always accurate, and it's gonna ultimately lead to unnecessary suffering. You may be able to eat way more than you even realize. So why suffer? You can still see fat loss progress while eating a decent amount of food. There is such thing as balance when it comes to your fat loss journey. So if you do want to take the thought process out of it, I'm going to direct you to our website. We do have a one-time macronutrient calculator. Basically, we take all of your information and we put it into our system to determine what we feel is best for you and your goals for your macronutrients. So if that's something you want to think about as well, that is an option that is available. Just make sure you guys either send me an email down below, or you can visit our website at thenattyhour.com, and we'll be able to help you guys out there. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.